Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special bonus episode of the Henchman's Memoirs. I wanted to make a quick video and pitch 4 different campaigns that could be the next campaign that my players are going to go on after we complete the Dark Souls of Drakkenheim campaign. We're in the midst of it right now, but the way these guys play, there could be a TPK any week. So I'm already starting to think about what our next campaign is going to be. And I thought I'd throw it out there to our viewers, and they could offer some suggestions, and also my players could kind of get an idea of what's on the table as far as our next campaign. Obviously, whatever it's going to be a dark fantasy, Ravenloft kind of campaign. My homebrew setting is a Domain of Ravenloft. It's a variation of the Darkhan setting that I've been working on and building up into, and basically all the books I've bought and all the ideas I have relate to dark fantasy in one way or another. So choice number 1 that I'm putting before my players is sort of a campaign based on The Witcher. The world of The Witcher has a major influence on my Darkhan Ravenloft campaign setting, along with Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing. So I got a hold of The Gathering Storm, which is a campaign for Warhammer, and I'm basically going to flesh out this very excellent campaign with custom classes that allow the players to basically be monster hunters and witch hunters, and allows them to go through this campaign as a group of expert monster hunters. The party will start off as a group of monster hunters and ghost hunters, vampire hunters, that kind of thing. They'll actually be working with Rudolf van Richten as they go through the Gathering Storm campaign, which I will, of course, be converting to 5th edition. And they go on the adventures herein. And eventually, this is a bit of a spoiler, but just to give you an idea of where the campaign is going to end up going, the last part of the Shattered Obelisk campaign from Phandelver and below will actually be imported into the campaign, where the players will eventually go into the final dungeons, which are actually going to have something to do with mind flayers and all this kind of psionic nightmare far realm kind of stuff. So that'll be at the end of the campaign. It starts off as this more sort of gritty monster hunter campaign, and then eventually transfers into that. So that's option number 1, the Witcher campaign. So option number 2 is Citadel of the Unseen Sun. So Citadel of the Unseen Sun is a Grim Hollow adventure. Or I should say it's a series of Grim Hollow adventures that become a campaign. This campaign really has a kind of feel that I like. It's the characters start off in this false afterlife, and they start in this weird sort of between dimensions, nightmare realm kind of place, and they have to work their way up through the different paths and mazes of the underworld to get back to basically being alive, get back to the living world, and stop the plans of the Lich that sort of started this whole thing going. It's very surreal, it's very Dark Souls, it's kind of got that feel that I really like and like to go for. And so this is coming out. They're coming out with a hardcover, the slipcase, whatever, here in a few months. And so I really want to order that and include that as a possibility for my players. The next big contender, number 3 for our next campaign, is JVC Perry's The Call from the Deep. So if we run this, and this is just an absolutely gangbusters adventure that I was able to get a print edition of. This guy's really great. If you guys haven't checked out JVC Perry on the DM's Guild yet, you don't know what you're missing. So this adventure features high seas shenanigans, right? The players won't actually be pirates, but they will be have their own ship, and there will be cannons, and there will be swinging from the yard arms and this kind of stuff, chases on the open sea. But we're going to be combining that, of course, with a healthy dose of gothic, dark fantasy, horror sort of tones, which all of my campaigns have to have. So we would be placing Call from the Deep on the Sea of Sorrows, and the players would be dealing with this. This is a pretty long campaign and pretty well written. One interesting thing about this starts with a crashed Mind Flayer Nautiloid ship somewhere in the world, and the resultant things that come from that, which of course is the same thing that kicks off Baldur's Gate 3, the video game. The same sort of beginning scene in both of these adventures, but Call from the Deep was out way before Baldur's Gate 3 was ever announced. I know that for a fact. So this might be an interesting campaign. I don't know. I want to keep things dark and gritty and gothic, and I'm afraid if I open up the open seas shenanigans to my players, things will spiral quickly away from the tone that I prefer. But this is still option number 3. It would be pretty cool. And then option number 4, I actually just found out about this in the last few weeks. Paizo had put out a horror-themed mega dungeon. And if you know anything about your buddy the Henchman, those are 2 of my buzzwords. Those are 2 things that hook me like an open-mouthed bass. I love mega dungeons, although they're not always as popular with players as they are with DMs. I love mega dungeons, and I'm going to do a video sometime about why I think they can be great and they can be run in a way that's really engaging. And, of course, I like horror-based adventures and campaigns, and I like Ravenloft. So this, they're coming out here in a few months with the 5e version of this, and, this would be able to be run straight from the book. I think it would be pretty cool. Of course, it would be inevitable that I would put my own spin on some things and bring in some monsters from some of these other great monster books I have. But when the 5e version of Abomination Vaults comes out, it's going to be hard not to pick that one. So let us know what you think. I know that Abomination Vaults and the Citadel of the Unseen Sun have the advantage of more people have heard of them. So we would probably get more hits on YouTube and stuff. We would be able to continue growing our audience if we did one of those. The same way Dungeons of Drakkenheim is kind of the keyword that got a bunch of people interested in our channel in the first place. If we do the Rising Storm or we do the Call from the Deep, we'll get less traffic that way. But they're still both viable options. I think the Witcher-based campaign is a cool idea. So, hey, seriously, let us know what you think. Drop us a quick comment and give us a vote for which one you think would be best, and maybe give us a reason why. And we'll catch you next time on the Henchman's Memoirs.